The Japanese method for creating wealth. Discipline that transforms. Let's get straight to it. If you feel stuck financially, if your days are full but your progress is invisible, if you start strong and burn out fast, this video is for you, because here's the truth most won't tell you. Your money problems aren't just about money. They're about discipline, direction, repetition. Not punishment-style discipline, but the kind that gives you peace, the kind that builds quiet power over time. Japanese culture has mastered this. While most of the world chases fast hacks and viral wealth, the Japanese build fortunes on purposeful discipline day after day. And the most powerful part, you don't need to move to Tokyo. You don't need to be born into this mindset. You just need to learn what they practice and apply it. Here's what you're going to learn today: why most people stay broke without realizing it. The Japanese definition of true discipline and how it transforms money, time, and life. How structure beats motivation every single time. Why saying no with honor is a wealth-building skill. How to build internal capital, the kind no one sees, but everyone feels, and how small consistent acts compound into unstoppable fortune. This isn't theory. This is practical, proven, transformational, rooted in Napoleon Hill, backed by Japanese wisdom and made for people like you, ready to stop spinning and start building. Why does this matter? Because if you don't master this, you'll keep chasing. You'll keep consuming, and you'll keep wondering why nothing sticks. But if you do, you won't just earn more. You'll move different, calmer, sharper, on purpose. You'll trust yourself again. So if this message is already hitting home, hit subscribe so YouTube keeps bringing you more like this. Let's begin. Word count, 434. Character count, 2,394. Dentro do necessário para a introdução? Ainda não. Vou expandir agora com profundidade emocional e contraste simbólico, mantendo ritmo e verdade. Imagine two people, both make the same amount of money, both have the same 24 hours, but 5 years later, one is free, and the other's drowning in stress and debt. Why? Not talent, not luck, not motivation, discipline, but not the Western version. White-knuckling through a goal, quitting when it gets hard. I'm talking about the Japanese kind. Quiet, consistent, precise, like water shaping stone. In Japan, wealth isn't loud. It's built in silence, in systems, in small moments done with great intent. A lunch made at home instead of bought, a budget reviewed instead of ignored. A no said without guilt. This is how wealth is born, not in fireworks but in patterns. And here's the kicker: it's available to anyone who chooses it. Even if you've been chaotic your whole life, even if discipline feels like a foreign language, you don't need to be perfect. You need to be patterned. And that's what this video is. A full system reset. A mental dojo for building real wealth from the inside out. Not by hustling harder, but by becoming someone whose actions no longer betray their goals. That's the Japanese method. That's the Napoleon Hill truth. And that's what we're about to install in your life, starting now. Word count, 882 character. Count, 4.801. Atingimos metade. Agora vamos ancorar a dor com mais força e incluir linguagem visual e simbólica. Picture this: your paycheck drops. You feel a small high. You pay some bills, grab food, maybe buy something that feels productive. 2 weeks later, you're confused. Where did it all go? So you tell yourself, next month I'll get serious. But next month looks exactly the same. That's not a financial problem. That's a discipline loop. A hidden program that keeps you chasing instead of choosing. And here's the brutal truth most avoid. Until you change the structure, nothing changes. No amount of willpower can outrun a broken system. But here's the hope. The system can be rebuilt. In Japan, this is where everything starts, with structure, order, flow. The tea ceremony has structure, the streets, the schools, the morning routines. There's calm because there's clarity. There's wealth because there's alignment. Compare that to most people's lives, 1,000 tabs open, 10 unfinished projects, energy scattered, money bleeding. Now imagine replacing that chaos with calm repetition. Imagine tracking every cent like it matters, because it does. Imagine waking up knowing exactly what you'll do to move forward. Today. That's what this is about. This isn't about being Japanese. It's about borrowing what works from a culture that's mastered it and fusing it with the timeless truths from Think and Grow Rich. Because Napoleon Hill said it best. Discipline is the bridge between desire and achievement. And the Japanese, they've been walking that bridge for centuries. You can too. So if you're ready to finally shift from scattered to structured, from broke to building, from anxious to anchored, then stay with me. This isn't just a video, it's a blueprint. Let's build it. The silent killer, why you stay broke without realizing. Here's the truth most won't tell you. You don't wake up poor. You drift into it, not because you're lazy, not because you're not smart, but because you've been running on invisible patterns that bleed your potential dry, slowly, silently, and consistently. Let me show you how. The daily traps that drain you. You wake up late, again. Rush into the day, grab breakfast on the go. Open your phone, scroll through emails, TikToks, texts, try to focus, but bounce between 5 things. By night, you're exhausted, numb, so you treat yourself with spending. That $6 coffee, that $80 impulse buy, that subscription. You forgot to cancel, again. And you tell yourself it's not a big deal. But here's the pattern. Small leaks, every day. Small distractions, every hour. Small excuses, every time it matters. Write this down. It's a pattern breaker. Tiny, undisciplined. Acts repeated create massive invisible loss. You're not failing because of one huge mistake. You're failing from 1,000 small ones you never see. Mottainai. The Japanese word that shifts everything. The Japanese have a word, mottainai. It means, what a waste, but it's deeper than just trash or leftovers. It's about wasted potential, wasted time, wasted attention, wasted life. In Japan, mottainai is a cultural signal. It teaches people from a young age to treat every resource with respect. Not fear, not guilt, respect. Compare that to how we treat our money. Mindless spending, impulse choices, no tracking, no strategy. If mottainai is a guiding light, then we're living in the dark. The invisible cost of just this once. Every time you say just this once, your brain is logging a deeper message. My goals don't matter. You may not say it out loud, but your subconscious feels it. And over time, your identity shifts from I'm someone who builds to I'm someone who reacts. That shift is where poverty starts, not in your bank account, but in your belief system. Napoleon Hill warned about this over a century ago. The majority of people are ready to throw their aims and purposes overboard and give up at the first sign of opposition. You know what that opposition looks like today? A sale, a notification, a stressful morning. That's all it takes to detour the undisciplined mind. The loop. Most people never escape. Let's break it down clearly. Desire. I want to save. More. I want freedom. Distraction. You react to life instead of designing it. Depletion. Energy gets drained by what doesn't matter. Delay. Action is postponed. Defeat. You blame yourself. Start over. Repeat. That's the silent killer. A loop that looks like living but leads to nowhere. And the worst part? It feels normal. Shift from waste to worth, so what's the shift? You go from unconscious reaction to deliberate design, from mottainai to value. Start with one decision. Track every dollar you spend for the next 7 days. No judgment. No shame. Just observation. Why? Because attention creates change. And without tracking, your money is vanishing without permission. You can't fix what you don't see. You can't build what you don't track. You can't respect what you don't measure. A real example, the paycheck ghost meet. Daniel, mid-30s, makes decent money. Every month, paycheck comes in, bills get paid, and yet, he's broke by the 20th. Sound familiar? Here's what changed it. He started using a spending journal, just paper, pen, 3 minutes a day, and he realized this. He wasn't overspending on big things. He was leaking on small ones. 7 daily lunch, $4. Coffee, $30 emergency items at the drugstore. $20 streaming he never used, $15 apps, $12 tips, $9 here, $6 there over 30 days, $800 gone, just like that. After 3 months of tracking, Daniel had built a $2,000 emergency fund without earning more. How? Discipline through awareness. That's the shift. Practical step. The Motonai mirror for the next 7 days. Try this. Every night, write down, what did I spend? Did it align with my purpose? Was it Motonai? Ask, did this act build me or bleed me? Highlight one small win. Every day. It might seem simple, but here's what it does. It trains your brain to start respecting your own effort. It transforms spending from emotional reaction to intentional action. That's discipline. That's how wealth begins. Visualize this. Imagine a bowl. Every time you act with discipline, a drop goes in. Every time you waste, a crack forms over. Time. The disciplined person's bowl fills and overflows. The reactive person's bowl stays empty, or worse, leaks from every angle. Which are you becoming? Because discipline doesn't just change your bank balance, it changes your self-respect. Ready to go deeper? In the next chapter, we'll break down how Japanese discipline isn't rigid or harsh, but freeing. Let's get into it. Discipline over desire, the code of wealth in Japan. Let's get one thing clear, desire is not your problem. You've wanted to improve, to grow, to save, to build, but desire without discipline is just noise. Here's the truth, most won't. Tell you desire creates dreams, discipline builds them. And in Japanese culture, this isn't just a saying, it's a way of life. The Japanese relationship to discipline in the West, discipline often feels like punishment, restriction, force, no fun. But in Japan, discipline is honor. It's the quiet pride of doing what's right even when no one sees. It's the structure that brings freedom. It's the path, not the prison. They don't chase dopamine highs. They pursue mastery. They call it shokunin, the spirit of the craftsman. Even the man who sweeps the street does it with intention. That's wealth, not of money, but of mindset. Discipline. Desire, let's break this down. Desire is emotional. It spikes. It fades. It's reactive. Discipline is structural. It holds. It builds. It endures. Write this down. It's a pattern breaker. Desire burns hot. Discipline burns long. You don't need more motivation. You need more systems, and that's where the Japanese thrive. Kaizen, the engine of steady growth. One of Japan's most powerful ideas is Kaizen. It means continuous improvement, not dramatic overnight changes, but small, consistent steps, daily. Let's say you want to save $10,000. Most people try to force huge sacrifices and burn out. The Kaizen approach? Track $1 today, save $5 this week. Cut one unnecessary subscription. Learn one small finance skill, then repeat. It doesn't feel impressive, but here's what it does. It builds rhythm, and rhythm becomes identity. Napoleon Hill said, "Success requires no explanations. Failure permits no alibis." Kaizen removes both. You're not explaining or excusing. You're doing with precision. Why we crave chaos and how Japanese discipline breaks it. Here's a hard truth. Most people are addicted to emotional spikes. That includes emotional spending, the thrill of the purchase, the rush of starting something new, the validation of being busy, but it never lasts. And the brain, trained by this chaos, starts to fear stillness. Stillness feels boring. But in Japanese wealth building, stillness is power. The Japanese tea ceremony, slow, precise, intentional. The opposite of how most of us swipe our cards. Stillness lets you think, and thinking leads to decisions. And decisions, repeated with discipline, create wealth. A real example, the lunchbox lesson meet. Naoko, she works a normal office job in Tokyo. Every day she brings a bento, a homemade lunch, not because she's broke, but because it represents 3 things: control over her health, respect for her effort, protection of her finances. That lunch saves her a day. Roughly 160 a month. Over 5 years, $9,600, all from one decision, repeated with discipline, not flashy, but powerful. Compare that to someone who buys lunch daily, telling themselves, it's just $8. This is the Kaizen mindset in action. And it's wealth building, as silently, daily, relentlessly. Practical step, the discipline tracker. Here's how you implement this today. Pick one financial habit you know you've been neglecting. Making coffee at home, logging. Expenses, reviewing your budget weekly. Do it for the next 7 days straight, no skipping, no excuses, even if it's small. Track it on paper. 1 box per day. Why? Because each checkmark builds your builder identity. You're not hoping, you're proving. This is how discipline becomes automatic. This is how the Japanese system builds internal power. Desire versus discipline, a visual shift, imagine. 2. Versions of you. Desire-driven you has big ideas, gets excited, starts fast, quits early. Discipline-driven you has a clear system, acts without drama, tracks progress, builds slowly, but surely. Which one becomes wealthy? Exactly. The deeper truth, discipline heals your relationship with time. Here's something most people miss. Discipline isn't just about action. It's about your relationship with time. When you're undisciplined, you feel like time slips away. It creates panic, scarcity, desperation. But when you move with structure, you feel calm. You start believing there is enough time, because now you know what to do with it. In Japan, this is visible everywhere. Trains run on time. Students clean their classrooms. Workers prepare their tasks the night before. It's not obsessive. It's respectful. Of time, of energy, of effort. The identity shift. From wanting to working, Napoleon Hill wrote, "Any idea, plan, or purpose may be placed in the mind through repetition of thought." What the Japanese model teaches us is this: repetition isn't boring. It's how you become someone else. So if you've struggled with inconsistency, if you've started and stopped more times than you can count, it's not because you're weak. It's because you haven't had a system to carry your desire. Now you do. You don't need more willpower. You need reliable repetition. That's the Japanese code. That's the discipline that transforms, ready to see how this structure holds everything together and becomes your invisible engine. Let's go to chapter 3, the invisible engine, how structure builds fortune. The invisible engine, how structure builds fortune. Let's get straight to it. Most people are chasing motivation, but motivation is unreliable. It comes when it wants. It vanishes when you need it most. And that's why most people stay stuck. Because they're depending on emotion, not structure. The lie of "I just need to get motivated." If you've ever said, "I just need to get motivated again," here's the truth: no, you don't. You need a system so solid, so repeatable, that motivation becomes irrelevant. Because let's be honest, motivation fades by Wednesday. Discipline fades by Friday. But structure stays. Structure carries you when you're tired, bored, or uninspired. It's the invisible engine of real wealth. Structure. In Japanese culture. In Japan, structure is everywhere. Shoes lined up before entering the home, daily routines followed. With care, workspaces kept minimal and precise, public transport running with minute-by-minute efficiency. Why? Because structure is seen as respect. Respect for time, respect for others, respect for self. You can feel it in the air, not forced. But flowing structure isn't about control. It's about ease. It removes friction from the day, so energy can go where it matters. Why most people sabotage structure? Here's the real sabotage. Most people resist structure because they confuse it with punishment. They say, "I want freedom, not rigidity." But here's the paradox. Structure creates freedom. Without it, your energy leaks, your money leaks, your time leaks. Write this down. It's a pattern breaker. What feels like freedom now often becomes chaos later. What feels like structure now becomes freedom later. Napoleon Hill's organized planning. Napoleon Hill didn't say, "Have a dream." He said, Riches do not respond to wishes. They respond only to definite plans backed by definite desires through constant persistence. That's structure, and it's the same principle behind Shitsuke, the Japanese 5S concept of sustaining discipline. Let's break it down quickly. Seiri, sort saiton, set in order, seiso, shine, seiketsu, standardize, Shitsuke. Sustain Shitsuke is the final and most powerful part. It's the habit of holding the line, not once, always. This isn't just for cleaning, it's a mindset, a daily posture of order. When you apply this to your money, your goals, your schedule, things shift fast. Structure creates stacking. Here's why this matters. Structure creates stacking. One clear morning habit, better energy, better decisions. One clean budget system, less stress, more savings. One financial review each week, more clarity, better direction. Each structure supports the next. Like bricks in a wall. Remove one, the whole thing shakes. Keep them steady. You build a fortress. Real example, the 15-minute fix. Meet Alex. His life was chaos, always reacting, always behind. One simple structure changed everything, a 15-minute morning alignment. Here's what he did. Reviewed yesterday's spending. Set 3 non-negotiable tasks. Chose one action aligned with his financial goal. That's it. Day 1 felt small. Day 10 felt lighter. Day 30 built a $1,000 buffer. Got his work done faster, slept better. No new income, no life hacks, just structure. Practical step, the invisible engine routine. Start tomorrow. Here's how. Set a 15-minute morning window. Review your priorities. Money, health, relationships. Write one financial action, one task to complete, one thing to eliminate. Repeat daily. This is your engine. It may not feel life-changing on day 1, but watch what happens when you do it 30 days in a row. You'll be thinking clearer, acting faster, earning better. Because structure doesn't just support success, it creates it. Visualize this. The house without foundation. Imagine building a house with no foundation. You paint the walls, you decorate the rooms, but the first storm, it collapses. That's what life without structure looks like. Impressive on the surface, fragile underneath. Now imagine a house with a deep, strong base. It may take longer to build, but it stands. You want to build your wealth like that. Slow, deliberate, solid. Because when life hits, and it will, you'll still be standing. The mindset shift, from reacting to designing. Here's the core shift. Most people live in reaction mode. They wake up late, rush, check their phone, respond to everything, no design, no structure, and then they wonder why nothing sticks. But you're becoming a designer of your day, a builder of routine, a master of energy. This is how you stop leaking progress. This is how you multiply time. This is how you build real fortune, quietly, relentlessly, with structure. Get ready, because in the next chapter, we'll dive into one of the most powerful tools of Japanese discipline, the power of saying no, with honor, clarity, and focus. Coming up next, say no like a samurai, the hidden power of selective focus. Say no like a samurai, the hidden power of selective focus. Let's get straight to it. Most of your energy isn't being stolen, you're giving it away. Every yes to something meaningless is a no to something that matters. And the cost, your money, your focus, your future, it's time to break that. The samurai principle, choose or be chosen. For in feudal Japan, the samurai had one rule above all: focus on what matters or die. That sounds dramatic, but here's the point. Distraction was dangerous. Indecision meant defeat. Honor came from clarity. You weren't trained to do everything. You were trained to do the right thing, with full presence. Modern life is the opposite. Multitasking is praised. Being busy looks impressive. Constant availability is expected. But here's the truth. Most won't tell you. Scattered focus leads to scattered results, and nothing will bankrupt your potential faster than trying to do everything. Ichigyo Zamai. Focus on one thing. The Japanese have a word for this discipline. Ichigyo Zamai. Total devotion to one thing. When a craftsman makes tea, he just makes tea. When a gardener sweeps the path, he only sweeps. No rushing, no mental tabs open. This is more than presence, it's precision, and it's where power lives. Now compare that to your life, half answering emails while listening to a podcast, working while scrolling, eating while checking Instagram. You're not doing three things, you're doing none of them. Well, the high cost of mental multitasking, every switch of attention has a cost, not just time, energy. It takes your brain 15 to 20 minutes to recover deep focus after a distraction. Now multiply that by 30 notifications, 5 open tabs, and a to-do list you're not even looking at. That's hours of lost productive life. Worse, it trains your mind to stay shallow. Never digging deep, never compounding value. Write this down. It's a pattern breaker. Wherever your attention goes, your future grows. So if your attention is scattered, guess what happens to your future? How this bleeds your money lets. Make this real. You sit down to review your budget, but your phone buzzes, you check a message, then you remember something from work, then you get hungry, then you never finish. This doesn't just delay clarity, it delays your financial future. That $100 subscription you forgot to cancel, that impulse order on Amazon, that side hustle idea you never followed through on, it all starts with attention. Without focus, your decisions degrade. Without decisions, your wealth disappears. Real example, the calendar flip. Erica had 14 things on her weekly to-do list. Start a side hustle, take an online course, rebuild her resume, organize, finances, redo her kitchen, read 3 books, meal prep, learn Japanese, and more. She was exhausted just looking at the list. So she flipped the model, picked one goal, build a side income, gave it 90% of her energy, blocked 2 hours every morning, said no to everything that didn't align. In 60 days. She launched. In 90 days, she earned her first $1,000. Why? Because focused energy moves mountains. Scattered energy makes noise and excuses. Practical step, the samurai filter. Apply this filter starting now. Every task, ask, does this build my future or distract me from it? If it's not a clear yes, treat it as a clear no. Choose one financial target this month. Pay off $500 debt, save $200, build first income stream. Then block daily time and protect it like a samurai protects his blade. The power of selective vision ever. Notice that after you buy a car, you see that same car everywhere. It didn't multiply overnight. Your focus changed. Same with your goals. Focus on debt reduction. You'll start seeing waste. Focus on building income. You'll start seeing opportunities. Focus on discipline. You'll start seeing patterns to break. This is how wealth building accelerates. What you focus on expands. What you ignore decays. Choose what expands. Selective focus builds selective identity. Here's something deeper. When you say no to what doesn't matter, you're not just saving time, you're becoming someone. Someone who values their energy, someone who moves with intention, someone who builds instead of reacts. This is what the samurai understood. Your focus is your edge. The Japanese room, a visual guide picture, a traditional Japanese room. Minimal objects, clear floor. Every item has purpose. There's nothing to distract, just space, just breath, just function. Now compare that to your day. 14 browser tabs, dozens of open apps, pings, alerts, buzzes, conversations halfway done. One builds calm, the other builds noise with no results. Which one's building your wealth? Mental contrast, no negative. Most people think no is selfish, but in truth, no is sacred. Every no you say to distraction is a yes to your highest vision. This is how Japanese entrepreneurs, creators, and investors operate. They say no to 95% of things, so they can go all in on the 5% that move the needle. You must do the same, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it feels like missing out, even when others don't get it. Because success is not about being available. It's about being unshakably focused, ready to protect your mind, your money, and your mission. In the next chapter, we'll explore the capital that no one sees, but that determines everything. Coming up, the bank account you don't see building internal capital. The bank account you don't see building internal capital. Let's get real. Wealth isn't just external. Your money is only as strong as the mind that manages it. You can earn 6 figures and still feel broke, still feel scattered, still feel small. Why? Because your internal capital is depleted. Let's fix that. What is internal capital? Internal capital is your self-respect, your consistency, your focus, your resilience, your ability to follow through. It's the part of wealth building no one sees, but it affects everything. You don't grow your net worth by accident. You grow it by expanding your internal resources, your mindset, your patience, your clarity, your energy. The money follows. Gammon, the art of enduring with dignity. The Japanese word gammon means enduring the seemingly unbearable with patience and dignity. It's not about suppressing pain. It's about holding your ground in the storm, not flinching under pressure, not breaking under delay, not abandoning yourself when results take time. That's internal capital. You build it not when things are easy, but when things feel slow and you keep showing up anyway. Why internal capital is more valuable than cash? Here's what most people never realize. You can lose your money. You can't lose your discipline. You can lose your job. You can't lose your self-command. If you're broke but you have discipline, you'll rebuild. If you're rich but you have no structure or identity, you'll lose everything. Fast. Napoleon Hill said, "Self-discipline is the master key to riches, not networking, not hustle, self-discipline. This is the foundation of internal capital." The emotional drain. Most people ignore. Most people think they're tired because of work, but often you're tired because of avoiding hard conversations, making the same decision 10 times, half-starting everything, breaking promises to yourself, doubting, restarting, quitting, comparing. This is emotional overdraft. You're spending willpower like money, but with no budget, and it leaves you bankrupt inside. Real example. The self-trust rebuild meet. Malik. He wasn't lazy. He was exhausted. Not physically, mentally. He'd start strong, then drop off. He'd set goals, then abandon them, and the worst part, he stopped trusting himself, so we flipped the game. No more big goals. Just 3 daily disciplines. Wake up without snoozing. Spend 5 minutes reviewing finances. Drink water before coffee sounds too small. 3 months later, $1,500 saved, launched side income. More energy, more control, more confidence. Why? Because he wasn't just building routines. He was depositing into his internal bank every day. Practical step, the self-capital ledger. Do this for the next 7 days. At night, ask yourself, did I keep my word to myself today? Did I do something hard with dignity? Did I say no when needed? For every yes, give yourself a check. Track your streak. You're building self-equity. Every check mark is a deposit. Every excuse is a withdrawal. Warning: external success without internal capital collapses. Let me be blunt. You can build success, but if it outruns your character, it will collapse. That's why lottery winners go broke. That's why high performers burn out. That's why some people sabotage every win they get, because they look rich, but they're internally poor. No discipline, no emotional range, no control. Real wealth, it starts in here. The Japanese master's mind in. Japan mastery is never rushed. A sushi apprentice might train for 10 years before touching fish. Why? Because the master knows skill without presence is hollow. And presence, focus, patience, stillness is the product of deep internal capital. This isn't glamorous, but it's real. And when you have it, you don't chase opportunities. You become the kind of person opportunities chase. Napoleon Hill's Inner Mastermind Hill spoke of the inner mastermind. Not just surrounding yourself with great people, but building an alliance within yourself. Your vision, your values, your will. When these three are in alignment, you move differently. Decisions get easier. Distractions get quieter. Results come faster, not from force but flow. This is internal capital at work. Visual. The two bank accounts. Imagine this. You have two bank accounts. The external one, full of dollars. The internal one, full of discipline, clarity, and focus. Now picture this. You lose your job. Your car breaks. Your business slows. Which account are you pulling from? Because if that internal one is full, you adapt. You stay steady. You rebuild. If it's empty, you panic, you break, you quit. Fill the right bank first. The identity shift. From trying to trained. Stop trying to be disciplined. Start training it like a skill. Because discipline isn't a gift. It's not natural for most people. It's forged through friction, failure, and consistency. And every time you do something difficult on purpose, even if no one sees it, you're getting stronger. Wealth is quiet. So is self-respect. And both begin with deposits no one applauds. Get ready. In the next chapter, we'll take everything you've learned and show how tiny daily acts done with honor compound into unstoppable fortune. Coming up, compound miracles, how small daily acts turn into wealth. Compound miracles, how small daily acts turn into wealth. Let's get straight to it. You don't need a breakthrough. You need consistency, because here's the truth most people avoid. Big results come from small acts, repeated with honor. Not from one lucky trade, not from a viral idea, not from a 10x leap, but from quiet, focused discipline, day after day after day. This is how the Japanese build, and it's how you will too. The power of the small done daily. Write this down. It's a pattern breaker. Massive change comes from micro acts with massive intent. It's not about how much you do, it's about how aligned it is and how often you repeat it. Let's break it down. You save $5 a day, 1,925 a year. You invest that for 10 years, grows into tens of thousands. You study 30 minutes a day. New skill in months, you connect with one person daily. Network doubles in a year. Each action feels tiny, but with consistency, it becomes unbeatable. Japanese culture, the art of compounding through ritual. In Japan, everything is a ritual. Making tea, cleaning the house, greeting someone walking to work, and in that ritual there's repetition. And in repetition, there's mastery. No rush, no skipping steps, no, I'll just wing it today. They understand. What you repeat, you become. What you master rewards you silently. That's not magic, that's math, that's the compound effect, disguised as simplicity. Why most people never experience compound results? Because they quit too early. Here's what it looks like. Week 1, high energy. Week 2, doubt. Week 3, life gets busy. Week 4, I'll restart Monday. Month 2, back where you started. Sound familiar? This is what kills most dreams, not failure, but interruption. Interrupt the process long enough, you interrupt the payoff. Compounding isn't just for money. Let's be clear. Yes, compound interest builds wealth, but it also builds confidence, skills, reputation, self-trust, momentum. You're not just building numbers in an account. You're building who you are, slowly, quietly, permanently. Napoleon Hill said, "Persistence is to the character of man as carbon is to steel. Small acts plus time, strength." Real example, the daily discipline stack. Lena wanted to fix her finances. She didn't start with a 90-day sprint. She started with one action. Check her bank balance every morning. Then she added prep lunch, 4 packs a week, review expenses on Sundays. Read 1 page of a financial book daily. That's it. 6 months later, paid off $3,400 in debt, created a $1,000 emergency fund, started investing monthly, no windfall. No luck, just small acts, stacked and sustained. Practical step, build your 3-win loop. Here's how to create your own compound system. Choose 3 small actions you can repeat daily. Example, track spending. 2 min. Move your body. 5. Samatis, reflect in a journal. 3 min. Set a 30-day non-negotiable commitment. Track progress visually. Calendar, app, journal. At 30 days, reflect. Double down. Why? Because you're not chasing results. You're building compound identity. That's what creates unstoppable momentum. Visual. The bamboo tree. The Japanese bamboo tree is watered daily. For years, nothing happens. But in year 5, it explodes upward, growing over 80 feet in 6 weeks. Was the growth magic? No. It was compounding underground, roots expanding, foundation forming. You are the same. Most people stop watering after week 3. You won't, because you understand. If you stay long enough in the right rhythm, something big is going to break. The compounding filter for decisions. Here's a tool to apply today. Before any action, ask, will this compound in my favor or against it? Eating that fast food, it compounds. Skipping your budget, it compounds. Showing up with discipline, also compounds. You're either building or bleeding. There's no neutral. Use this lens every day. Napoleon Hill and definiteness of purpose. Hill's principle of definiteness of purpose is the anchor of all compounding. Because without clarity, there's no consistency, and without consistency, compounding dies. He wrote, here's one quality which one must possess to win, and that is definiteness of purpose, not scattered ambition. Not vague goals, but one direction owned fully. In Japan, this shows up in Ikigai, your reason for being. When your daily actions align with your deepest why, you stop quitting, you stop drifting, you begin to rise. The identity shift. From effort to energy flow. At first, discipline feels like effort. You force it, you plan it, you track it. But one day, it clicks. It becomes flow. You're no longer trying to be disciplined. You are. That's when compounding takes over. You stop pushing the wheel starts pulling you. And that's when life changes. Last visual, the unseen wall. Imagine stacking 1 brick per day. Looks like nothing. People mock it. Then 100 days later, you have a wall. Then a house, then a fortress. This is how wealth is built. 1 page, 1 decision, 1 deposit, 1 yes to structure, 1 no to chaos. Repeat, 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 until the life you want is no longer a vision, it's where you live. Get ready, because in the final section, we'll bring it all home. Let's cement what you've built, lock in the mindset, and help you walk forward with power. Coming up, conclusion. You're not who you were when you clicked play. You're not who you were when you clicked play. Take a breath. Look at how far we've come. This wasn't just a video about Japan. It wasn't just about money. It was about you, about waking something up inside you that was always there, but buried under noise, doubt, and distraction. Let's lock in what you've learned. Quick recap, what you now know. You've seen how discipline, not motivation, is the foundation of wealth. You've learned that structure isn't restriction, it's liberation. You've felt how saying no is an act of power, not guilt. You've discovered the wealth inside you, your internal capital. You've seen the miracle of small daily acts compounded over time, and most importantly, you've stopped waiting for change and started building it. This isn't theory anymore. It's now a system. Your system. You're not who you were. The person who clicked play maybe felt stuck, maybe didn't trust themselves, maybe thought discipline was too hard or too late. But now, you know the truth. Discipline is a skill. Focus is a choice. Wealth is a pattern. And transformation isn't an event, it's a direction. Let that land. You're no longer reacting to life. You're designing it with intention, with clarity, with calm. That's power. Identity upgrade, who you are now. You are now someone who respects your time, protects your focus, tracks your habits, honors repetition, moves with precision, and sees wealth not just in numbers, but in patterns. You are no longer waiting for the right time. You are becoming the right person. Let others chase hacks. Let others burn out chasing dopamine. You build slow, you build deep, you build forever. What to do next? Let's make this real. Right now, choose one of these and commit for 7 days. Daily budget check. No spend discipline. Morning 15-min structure. 1 powerful no each day. A daily financial journal. Track it. Protect it. Let it compound. Remember, you don't need a new plan. You need to live the one you've built. One small win at a time. Closing message. You came in thinking you needed more motivation. You leave knowing you need less noise and more rhythm. You came in feeling scattered. You leave equipped with structure. You came in uncertain. You leave anchored in discipline. Because this wasn't just a video. This was a reset. Your wealth-building journey now has a compass. Your life now has a code. Japanese wisdom, Napoleon Hill truth, your new identity. And this is just the beginning. You're not who you were when you clicked play. If this anchored something in you, hit subscribe and let's keep building forward.